Hi everyone, welcome to Road to Cat 99. So this video is specifically for Slot 1 students. A lot of Slot 1 students requested me and asked me to say something about the Slot 1, to present my views about the Slot 1, what are the things that you should take care of before appearing for the Slot 1, right? And a lot of students also said that you should not make this kind of video, this is a clickbait video or this and that. But my viewpoint is, my side is that if it seems clickbait to you, you can leave the video right now, right? You can go and you can continue whatever you have been doing, right? If you are studying, go and study. This video might help you a little bit, might not help you at all, right? But the point is, there are different CAT aspirants. Some come on the YouTube to watch the educational content, and some come on the YouTube to hear us out, right? To hear us more about their Slot 1, to hear us about if they are missing on something or not. And there are a lot of freshers or the first timers who are appearing for the CAT, so they also want to know what exactly are the things that they should keep in mind if they are appearing for the Slot 1, है ना? So इस वीडियो में we will discuss कि if you are in Slot 1, what you should start doing from right today onwards, right? ऐसा कुछ बहुत सारी चीज़ें नहीं है जो आपको करनी चाहिए, बहुत बेसिक चीज़ है जो आपके एक दिमाग में होनी चाहिए, and you should start following all those things from day 1 onwards. मतलब from Sunday, right? Today is I think 17th, right? Till 24th, just 7 days, just 7 or 8 days आपको बस ये करना है, right? And believe me, you will be having the best day, best exam of your life on 24th, right? So first thing is you have to adjust your body cycle, right? आप लोग, काफ़ी लोग ऐसे हैं CAT aspirants जो रात तक पढ़ते हैं, and generally they have a habit of waking up at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 p.m., 1 p.m. also, right? So you have to start thinking seriously about this, because adjusting the body cycle is not an easy task, right? So if you want to adjust your body cycle, it takes 3-4 days easily, right? So what you should be doing, you should start sleeping early as 10 p.m. or max to max 11 p.m. and you should start waking up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. right? And after waking up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. right, take your bath, take your breakfast and sit for a mock at exactly at 8:30 a.m. right? So you should be appearing for the mocks, right? And from this point onwards, I would suggest you to not appear for more than 2 mocks, है ना? Till Wednesday, appear for 2 mocks. उसके बाद mocks को appear करना you can leave. And the next point is, please be cognizant of the fact that a lot of students just face difficulty in adjusting their body cycle. So if you are one who is thinking कि नहीं यार मैं तो कर लूँगा, है ना, हो सकता है मैं body cycle लास्ट के 2 दिन में कर लूँगा adjust, नहीं. Why do you want to take the risk, right? अगर आप अभी कर सकते हो, why you are not doing, right? तो तुम्हें अभी कर सकते हो तो डेफिनेटली तुम्हें 100% अभी ही एडजस्ट करना चाहिए अपना बॉडी साइकिल, और रात को 10-11 बजे सो. टेक अ स्लीप ऑफ 6 hour, 7 hour or max to max 8 hour also, it's fine, right? Wake up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. right? Take a bath, proper breakfast, then sit for a mock at 8:30 a.m. or sit for your study session, right? Now I have to suggest you one more thing, that you should be appearing for the mock at 8:30 a.m. but you should be sitting on your chair at 7:30 a.m. and doing nothing, right? This is of little significance, but the point that I am trying to make is कि whenever you are going to appear for the CAT exam, right, तो आपको 1 घंटा पहले वहाँ पे बिठा देंगे, right? You will be sitting at the chair on around 7:30 a.m. Then you have to wait for 40, 50, 60 minutes, right before the blank screen पे कुछ भी नहीं होगा. You have to wait for that, and then at 8:30 a.m. your slot will start, your exam will start. So you should have that patience, you should have that awareness, that calmness in mind कि ठीक है मुझे 1 घंटा वेट करना पड़ेगा. Make sure you are not feeling sleepy at that point of time. So technically your exam would be around 3 hours, right? 1 hour of waiting time and 2 hours of the real exam time, right? So this is something that I wanted to convey, right? Next thing is, take good sleep, right? A lot of my friends did this, that they went for the exam with just 4 hours of sleep or 5 hours of sleep, right? And the reason for that is, one day before the exam, they kept studying till late night, right? So they were in the view that if they cover a lot of formulas, if they practice a lot of things one day before the exam, some magic will happen and some things will work out that haven't worked out so far, right? But this is partially true. I mean, this might work out for someone, but going to the competitive exam with just 4 hours of sleep or 5 hours of sleep, right, that is a very poor strategy, because if you want to study more, you can study more nowadays, right? But don't try some extraordinary things one day before the CAT, right? So one day before the CAT, your motive should be to take enough amount of sleep so that you have a very fresh mindset right before the exam. And this exam is basically purely based on your comprehension and understanding skills, right? The first 40 minutes of the exam will test you on the comprehension only, right? You can't expect, you don't know the topic of the passages, so whatever you get at that point of time, you will have to comprehend and you will have to understand. That is the first part. Second part, same with the DILR, right? When you jump to the DILR section, again you have to analyze a lot of sets and then you have to make a choice, right? And then to crack that logic, there is no specific formula, right? Then again you have to go through a entire discussion, entire whatever set is given, and you have to think in multiple ways to crack that set, right? After 80 minutes of the exam, you will be little tired, right? So after 80 minutes, your processing speed, I would say, the brain gets slowed down, right? So when you enter into the quant section is also not just about the formulas, right? A lot of people know formula, but if you compare the arithmetic section, right, there are very few formulas in the arithmetic section, right? And a lot of people are able to solve the questions without the usage of any formula. And same with the algebra also. In algebra there are some topics which require prior understanding, right? But it is partially true that you can solve any question with the help of formulas in the algebra, right? Even in the geometry you require the formula, but having a formula doesn't mean that you will be able to solve the question, right? So the activeness of mind, the calmness of the mind, and how to solve the question also play a vital role in all these things, right? So having a good sleep will obviously push your thinking skill, will obviously help you in thinking in multiple ways. But if you are feeling sleepy during the exam, then it will obviously create a lot of problems for you, right? So please have at least 6 hours of sleep and 7 hours of sleep, and don't surround yourself with a lot of negativity, right? There will be a lot of videos, there will be a lot of failure stories that will revolve around in the next week, right? That will be circulated in the Telegram, in the WhatsApp, where people are writing that we scored 99.9 but still did not get call from IIM ABC, or we studied a lot of things, we have been scoring 99 percentile in the mocks, but in the CAT we ended up at 90 percentile, and this is just luck based exam. Obviously luck is required, but the significance of the luck is something which is not controllable, right? So you can't write control, so you have to give your best anyways, right? So surround yourself with the positivity only and think positive about everything, right? Anything can happen, but please make sure that you are practicing, you are hardworking in the next 7 days. Next thing is good food, right? Generally what happens, this problem is not faced by slot 2 and slot 3 candidates, because obviously if you are appearing for the 12:30 PM exam or 4:30 PM exam, you will be having good food, you will be having at least breakfast at that day. But what happens is there is a lot of nervousness for the slot 1 exam, because literally slot 1 guys do not have any idea about the exam pattern, about the difficulty level, and so many things, right? But the slot 2 and slot 3 get some advantage, because generally the difficulty level of exam of slot 3 and slot 2 is on par with the slot 1, right? Same goes with the paper pattern is ditto same for slot 2 and slot 3, so they get some information before appearing for their slot. So due to this, a lot of slot 1 students have nervousness, have anxiety before the slot, and they avoid eating anything, right? They skip their breakfast or they take light breakfast. So what I would say that even if you have a good decent amount of breakfast that you should have, right, it will be digested in the 1 hour waiting period that you will be having before the exam, right? But make sure what you are eating during the breakfast, don't eat too spicy or that create problem in digestion. That is the one tip. And the next tip is water bottle. So it is of very significance important for me, right? I require water after every 10 minutes or 15 minutes, right? So whatever bottle, whatever size you require, 1 liter or 2 liter, please don't hesitate to take it with you. Otherwise it will create unnecessary problem during the exam. You will have to go back, you will have to travel to and fro to the this wherever the water is in the exam center. right? And it also creates a lot of problems for the others also, right? So it creates a unnecessary sounds and noise and all that stuff, right? So even if you want to carry 1 liter water bottle or 2 liter of water bottle, just remove the wrapper, make sure the water bottle is transparent, and you are good to go, right? And regarding the slot 1 mainly, so if you are appearing for the slot 1 and you are going to the test center on that day only, that is a little bit risky, right? So 1 or 2 days before your exam, please verify that that test center is correct, because sometimes what happens if you do a Google research, right? So there are multiple test centers with the similar names. So sometimes Google take you to a different route, to a different position, to a different location, right? So in case that happens, so I would always suggest that this is one of the biggest exams of your life, right? So please don't take any risk. Visit the test center 1 day before the exam, and students who got the test center around 200 kilometers far away or more than that from their location, right, I would always suggest you to go to the city, to the test center, and take a hotel nearby, right? You will get decent hotel of around 500 to 1000 rupees, right? Please stay there and don't take any risk, right? Then yeah, take note of the timings also. So last year I was there in the Ahmedabad. So in Ahmedabad, what I noticed that there were 2 girls who missed their exam just because they arrived 1 or 2 minutes late after the last entry time. So you will not be allowed to enter to the exam hall after the last entry time, and there is a lot of fog and there is a lot of pollution in the northern parts of the India, right? So please don't risk your travel, right? If you plan to travel for even for 100 kilometers, please don't risk it. The tire might got punctured, there might be some unfortunate accident or anything, right? So please don't risk it. This is again, I'm repeating, one of your biggest exam, otherwise you have to wait for 1 more year, right? So whatever the timing is mentioned, that is the last entry timing. Make sure you are reaching the center 1 hour before the last entry timing. After that, it's your decision when to enter into the exam hall. You can enter 1 minute before the last entry timing. There will not be any issue, right? And next thing is what you have to carry. You have to mandatorily carry your admit card copy, right? It can be colored or black and white. And then you have to carry 1 photograph, right? Photograph should match what you have uploaded in the CAT form. If it's not matching, right, make some arrangement and try to bring the similar photograph. If still it's not happening, you can take any other photograph, right? But it is always better, it is always suggested to take the same photograph, and it is also written in the instruction. Please read all the instruction that is given in the admit card. And you have to carry 1 government copy. You can carry the Aadhaar card, right? I think you also require to carry a photocopy of that. I'm not very sure. So please read the instruction and go through whatever it is said, right? Pens are generally not allowed. Pens are given during the exam, so you don't need to worry about that, right? This is the biggest thing that I'm talking about is the changes, right? So a lot of students are expecting that the paper pattern will be the same. A lot of students are expecting the paper pattern might change, right? Might is some dubious word, right? It can change or it can't change, that everyone knows, right? So you don't need to take pressure of that. If it is changed, it will be changed for everyone, right? That is the first thing. And second thing is, what I would suggest is more than the paper changes, right? What matters is the difficulty level of paper for you, right? How it looks to you, that the paper, whether the paper is really difficult or not. So if you feel that the paper is easy, then everything is sorted for you. If you feel that the paper is difficult for you, then it doesn't matter whether the paper pattern gets changed or not. So what I would suggest is that whenever you are going through a particular section, right, there will be an instruction tab, right? In the instruction tab, you will be given the number of questions in the each section. So they will clearly tell you that VARC has this much questions, DILR has this many questions, and Quant has this many questions. So you will get a decent idea after reading that whether the paper pattern gets changed or not. And even after you are entering into, I don't think VRC will have some major changes, neither for the quants, but for the DILR there might be some little changes, right? So if there are some changes, I would suggest you to have that thing in mind and rush through the entire paper in the first 10-15 seconds to note that how many sets are there, and also to note that whether there are some changes or not, right? If there are some changes, please decide what to do in the next 20-30 seconds. Don't ignore the changes. If there are changes, you have to bring a minor change in your strategy. Strategy will not change at all, right? There might be some minor adjustments, right, that you have to do, right? So be aware about this thing, and there might be some changes because the LRDI has been changing from the last 3-4 years, but don't take pressure of this thing, right? It is also creating unnecessary pressure on some students. So to be on the safer side, to be on the positive note, you can expect there are no changes in the exam, right? Now talking about the wrong question. So what happens in the slot 1 is that whenever a question doesn't get solved, or whenever a question sounds weird to you, right? For the VARC, you can assume anything. For the DILR and the quants, the students start thinking that maybe the question setter or the paper has given some wrong questions. But in the history of CAT, there has been very rare wrong questions in the exam, right? So, and generally whatever the corrections happen every year, that is basically due to the one question leading up to the another answer also, right? So one question has multiple answer. That is the I would say the wrong part that I have seen in the CAT questions. Otherwise there are literally no wrong questions in the CAT, and especially for the VRC, they don't pay attention to the whatever cribs you file, right? So after the CAT, you have an option to file the cribs for all the questions. So whatever cribs you file for the VRC, they generally don't change any answer. But in the LRD and in the quants, if they feel that there is literally some mistake, they will obviously listen you and they will obviously make some changes. But I don't think that in the LRD and the quants there has been a big changes or big mistakes in the questions or in the answers in the past. So if you are feeling that some answer is not coming, right, then please accept that you are making some mistake and shift to the another question, right? Don't spend too much time on that particular type of question. Difficulty level of paper, to be honest, I have seen a lot of videos where people are claiming that IMC is known as Fin based campus and XYZ, so they will obviously give quants heavy paper. Some are saying that the convener knows DILR, teaches DILR or game theory, right? So she will obviously make some sets out of all these things. And for the VARC, again, they have different views. Obviously convener has a lot of say in the difficulty level of the exam, and I don't know whether she has or not, but what I believe that she might have a lot of say. But the point is that I don't think that the convener has this much time that she herself is writing the exam, she herself is preparing the paper, drafting the paper and preparing the DILR sets. So their main role is to have a broad view about how the things are going on, because I discussed with one of my professors, and the professor, I would not take the name, but the professor was a convener at that time when the paper pattern got shifted from offline mode to online mode. So all the things that happened at that time was taken care by the convener. So convener has some big duties, right? And preparing a paper is just one part of this big event, right? So they have to make a lot of arrangements. They have to ensure that every CAT test center is functional. They have to also ensure that the paper is secured, it doesn't get leaked, because I think in the history there is one time when the paper got leaked for the CAT. So they have to do a lot of things, right? So obviously CAT convener can say, whosoever is making the paper, you can increase the difficulty level of DILR or this and that, but I think they are good people. They know how many candidates are sitting for the exam, and they literally don't want to make a biased paper, right? So, and they literally don't want you guys to judge the paper, right? So they will obviously give you surprises, but I think we get surprises every year, and we get 99% every year, and we get surprises in mocks also. Still we score, right? So there will not be a lot of surprises कि आपसे paper ही solve नहीं होगा, right? And if there are a lot of surprises, it will be for everyone. So you should know how to handle the surprises, right? But believe me, I think the difficulty level of the paper will not change significantly, obviously every year. So if you are keeping different difficulty level across the section, so obviously there will be 6 ways to divide the difficulty, right? One section will have the highest difficulty, one section will be on the lowest difficulty side, right? That is quite natural, right? But really we can't judge which section is the most difficult, which section is the least difficult. So you will get to know about all these things when you go through the sets, when you go through the passages, when you go through the questions. So my only advice is, please refresh your mind in the next 7 days. Surround yourself with positivity. Start having good breakfast. Start having good sleep, right? And believe in you, right? Whatever you have covered so far, don't rush unnecessarily for XYZ things. Whatever you have covered so far, work on that things, polish that things, and I'm pretty sure you will come out with the flying colors, and you will obviously score what you have been scoring in the mocks. This has been a history. People score more marks than what they have been scoring in the mocks if they put the same effort, if they don't get nervous, if they don't get worried about the paper, about all the stupid things before the exam or during the exam. That's it. Best of luck for slot 1. I know you are going to crack it. Thank you.